I have a few minutes for questions and comments, and Dr. Wells would like to make a comment.
Yeah. So if I could just clarify that what happens with a collaborative care, let's say, toolkit or approach, is no one is prescribed to do a particular thing. I just want to make that really clear. So you heard as one example about cognitive behavioral therapy, right? So the goal is to get people to things that they need. If you're a therapist and cognitive behavioral therapy is not for you, that's okay. So the care manager will work with the client on who they can go to, including you. No one is prescribing under this kind of approach that you have to do a particular kind of therapy. I just want to make that clear. It just so happens that our team has a lot of expertise in cognitive behavioral therapy. So we can offer as a resource training in that particular therapy. You may do, that may be helpful to some people. People and agencies who want to be in the study to be supported by the program are in the study regardless of whether they want that particular form of therapy or have something else they use. This just happens to be a resource we offer. Is that clear? So, and that's true with all of these pieces. So, for example, Michael will provide training, and his team will provide training, and you'll see some this afternoon if you're interested, in the clinical assessment and medication management of clients. But, the doctor and the provider and the nurse practitioner, they're making their own decisions with their clients. They have access to this training and so forth in the care management. So a collaborative care toolkit says, okay, here's some things we can enrich your practice with. Choose some among them like a menu. You may find some of these things that work for you, but no one is prescribing or engineering how practice or collaborative care works. So I just want to and that's how this kind of program works. It's choice-based. It's always choice-based.
I just wanted to clarify something, so I know there's a lot of people here who may be just community outreach people who do case management, and I don't want you to feel that you are left out of that configuration up there, because I know that there's a lot of outreach workers that do direct outreach, and this is part of what they'll learn from and be able to do as well. Because if an agency doesn't have therapists, if an agency doesn't have a lot of other things, they may have a few case managers. Their case managers may not have degrees in psychology or psychiatry or any of those things, but this project will work for them as well. And I want that to be very clear.
Yeah, there are a lot of resources that are available around education, around client linkage, and so forth. And if you're here in the afternoon and you're not in one of the formal care provider agencies, you're welcome to hear about any program, but the care management piece will actually be explaining education resources. If you're a community health worker or minister, you might be particularly interested in that piece because it includes the community health worker type of role. Just wanted to clarify that. We use, if I could just take a moment, is that okay? We use toolkits every day, and I would just like to illustrate that by doing my own little surprise, if you allow me, to the community leads who've helped develop the whole SPA 4 Hollywood metro area. So I have a little gift that I would like to give to Elizabeth and to Jim and to Ed and to Wayne. So if you would come up here for a moment, Elizabeth, Jim, Ed, and Wayne. Hey, Wayne, are you here? I thought I saw you. Yeah. So this is just a little exercise to illustrate what a toolkit is. I want to try to demystify it. It sounds so mystical. It is just a practical thing of how you put things together that you need and use them together. So I have for each of them, and I'm going to illustrate this with Elizabeth's for a moment, a travel kit. This is a toolkit that many people have used, right? You have your hairbrush in it, you have your toothbrush in it, you might have soap in it, you have different things. So a travel kit is an example of a toolkit. There's nothing fancy about it. You're just putting together things that you need that complement each other in some convenient place. So this toolkit has in it a couple of very special things that are like collaborative care. So there are the usual toothbrush, holder. Sorry, toothbrush holder. It's at the bottom. I won't take it out. Soap holder. But the key thing is you can put what you want in this. It's not something I've engineered. You could put your perfume. You could put your perfume. or whatever.